I'm going to use a slightly, ooh, well, that fixed that water. Okay, it's fine. The water's fine. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put some water in here. I think I've already got a few spatters from because it was sitting up here. Okay, so I've got this wet, but it's not soupy like what I just showed you a minute ago. All right, so let's take, you can actually do this with cerulean. It doesn't always bite like that. So let's see, I want some openings that are where there's not foliage. Oh, look, see where I went over the tree here? And I got that kind of nice atmospheric look there. I think I'll just leave that as sky. That's a dead limb. That's going to be a dead limb. So I want some areas that you could call that negative shapes in there. Okay. And we'll plan ahead. Okay. So let's just take some of, oh, well, you know what? I was going to take some yellow. I've got a really, no, let's not use that. Let's use some yellow ochre. And let's just brush it in next to the blue. Sometimes they might run over each other. So
that's pretty.
This might be my beginning.
That's a really nice effect.
Yeah, see, that's a nice, and it feels safer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, this may be a little too pale. Let's just get a little bit stronger here in some areas. Just keep adding in a little bit. Give it a little bit of some, oh, here. I totally left this one out, didn't I? Well, that's starting to dry. See how you can see the edge of my brush strokes? I'll just add a little moisture to it while it's still wet. And, you know, I think that's dead up there too. Yeah. Okay, it looks dead, doesn't it? It looks like it broke off. Okay, so, yeah, maybe just a little. And who knows what's down here? You know, I forgot what was there. I forgot. I don't know what to do with it, quite frankly. I'll figure that out later. So, this is my start. When that's dry, I might even cover some of these areas up, but odds are I can just kind of hold my hand. And some spatters will get over here and it'll look natural, but you know, you don't want as much as you get over in here. So I'll do this, I'll let it get dry, or I'll give it a minute or two and then I can take it to the hair dryer, you know, and then I will spatter.
Cool.
It's all about the joy of spatter. All right, first thing we need to do, let's see, we're going to do something kind of like that. Okay, so the first thing we're got to do is mix some color.
You want to be over here?
Used,
No, right.
but Quinn Gold's always the go-to stuff, right? So what I need is, I need some, I need some medium strength paint there. Yeah, like that.
I'm going to trade places with you.
And then some medium strength. Okay. This is cerulean. You can use, you can use whatever
Takes a
floats
village.
your boat. Let's see.
Yellow and blue make green.
Let's see what happens when we.
It can see.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's going to work. Then we need some variety. So let's get a cool green. Oh, there. Okay, let's live with that. So then, because we don't have room, set that on the table over there. All right.
Gold and cerulean.
By the way, because I chunked them out of my way, and I shouldn't have. This was done with a straw. As a painting tool. The straw is sliced up into little strips.
Yeah.
Someone brought in a load of straws, so I will try to remember to bring that next week. All right.
Drinking straws? Or-
Drinking straws, yes. This was a big fat drinking straw. She ordered them special. Okay, gotta make sure I got this on the frame. So the thing is, you could do this in either direction. You could spatter with color first, or you could use a spray bottle, or you could spatter with water too. You have multiple options. I like this one because if you just barely gently spatter with it, you get an uneven pattern, very much like if you spattered with a brush, maybe a little different. So we're going to start out. Let's just spatter a little bit here, and I'm looking for some. Here's the thing: spattering. There's an art to it. So you can see that I'm just doing that, and I'm not having to spatter real hard to get it off the brush. The brush is loaded up. If it was super loaded, I'd get big drips, and you can play with that. I recommend maybe having a scrap and playing with this before you get with your painting. And then you're going to do this to it. You just keep adding little bits till a lot, but not every sprinkle there is covered. See how that already has sort of a natural pattern that if you tried to put that down with a brush, it would never look like that. I'm sure there's someone who can do that with a brush and make it, but it's not me. So then I'm going to take a regular round brush.
And you used this kind of a brush rather than the pointed one.
You could use
Doesn't
any
matter?
one that's going to hold a lot of water, so
Okay.
a big thirsty one. So you could use a brush like a little bigger one like this, and you can get a little fatter splatters maybe with this than with that.
Okay.
But this also is a very thirsty brush. A synthetic or even a smaller version of this probably won't work for you. All right.
What is that material on that brush?
This one?
Uh-huh.
This is half squirrel, half synthetic. Yeah. So, then you're going to edit it. I know it's a little confusing because all this other stuff is out here, but so once you've got that, maybe you need some bigger areas, that look a little more solid. Oh, look what's happened. Oh my. So here is a lovely thing because I have been talking. I am going to have a pattern within my pattern. You see those little? Okay. What that is that's the cerulean. And cerulean has this habit of grabbing into the paper. It's made with chromium, and I don't know. There's something about chromium that's grabby. So you can see I've got some kind of nice things happening in there. Now, if you don't want that grabby pattern, use a different blue, or don't talk. Go ahead and get to work on it right away. you have options there.
Do you think ultramarine glue?
I
Would
think
do the
ultramarine. No, it
Oh.
doesn't. It doesn't grab like that.
Okay.
So, or you could remember ultramarine is cooler. You're going to get something
Okay.
a little less green, but you could also use
Prussian blue?
Prussian blue would work.
Prussian blue.
You know.
Okay.
So
In that case, you use cerulean and
I used cerulean, and like I said, I stopped and talked. Now the other way to make it not do that, whatever. Okay, the other way to make it not do that is simply to spatter first. It's a little harder for you to tell what's happening because you've done that. You could again spatter with your brush too. You know, you have those options. Oh, let's just pick up a little of that. Let's change the color up, see how this looks. So, again, I may need to load this brush up a little more. Now, if I have my paint real thin and then I drop it into the water, you know, I'm not going to have as much. But I should have fewer places holding here. I'm having a little more trouble getting it off of this brush. See, if you have to sling hard, you're going to get those long streaks. Nothing wrong with the long streaks, they're just different. Well, I didn't spatter as much water in there as I thought, so this really wasn't smart. But see, once you got it down here, you still need to edit the thing. Oh, look, it's doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I didn't spend as long talking this time. So, but you can see how you play into that. So what this one is, and you could, you know, there are other ways. I'm going to show you one other thing. I may have showed you last week. I don't remember which class I showed what. This one is 2 levels of this. So this was the first paler level dried, and then a much stronger, darker olive green laid in here. Okay.
Did you splatter both times?
I did splatter both times. I mean, it was the same treatment. Yeah.
You just let it dry between?
Yeah, I let it dry between. Yeah, you have to, or else it's mush.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other possibility is to just pre-wet the area. And you could even have some nice, oh dear. Well, pretend I have sky color in there because I don't have my palette. So let's just, you know, you could softly put some of this in. Probably not quite that wet, so that you've got a nice soft edge there. Let that get dry and then do this on top of it. And you'll get a little different effect, but both of them could look really good. And you might want to, like I said, I would practice this on a scrap. So, anybody got more questions? I'm looking at you because you, no. Okay. All right.
I do have a question.
Yes.
When it's all dry and everything, and you go for the second that is darker, do you put more water or you just don't put water? The
Okay.
second time?
The second time I repeat exactly what I did the first time with the
okay.
spatters,
Yeah.
but except it's dry in between. It needs to be dry or you
Got it.
lose your definition.
But you don't add more, do you add more water on top of what you've
You
already?
wouldn't paint water on top of.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
Oh,
paint-
when I
Yeah.
did this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if
No,
you
this?
came back on this, you wouldn't
Okay.
paint the whole thing with water.
Oh,
would
I
you?
probably wouldn't, although you could.
Okay.
You know, you could do that, you know, if you decided that this was busy enough and you didn't want it to be any busier, then you could do this kind of treatment underneath it. Obviously, I got that way too wet, you know, but you could get it wet and you get a soft edge. You could also put blues or whatever sky stuff in there, you know, and your green or yellows. A pale yellow would be really nice there. It's fall. Yeah. So, okay.
So, are you saying